What's up YouTube fam, Robbie C here. Today we're going to talk about, is the Raider the best distance choice that I have available to me? Or is there something else that could be better? But before we dive in, we have to ask the most important question of the day. How you doing today, Egan? Are you having a good one?
So catch me if I fall.
So recently over on Overthrow Disc Golf's channel, Josh shared his personal distance journey. It's been fun as a friend of Josh watching how he has not only like gone past certain distance thresholds, but like absolutely obliterated them. So I love that he's getting to share his success with you. And you know, of course, I'll say it, silence some of the haters that are trying to discredit Josh's coaching. Putting in the speed work, putting in the effort, but to borrow a quote from Big Germ, sometimes it can be the arrow. So while distance can almost always come down to form, we always have to ask the question, how are we, do we have the right arrow? Do we have the right tool in our hands? And so I want to spend a little bit of time today. It's not going to be super extensive, but it's the first of testing. I've been throwing and bagging Raiders for quite some time, and I think that the Raider is a phenomenal distance choice. But I do wonder, by just switching around options, do we have better distance options available to us? Is the tried and true classic it for us? So I wanted to take a moment today and talk about and sort of test some different distance driver options and sort of the unique problem that I have as someone who has a high level distance forehand. When choosing a disc, I have to make sure that I have the right distance driver for both sides of the equation so that I'm not favoring, let's say, my backhand while making my forehand suffer. So what did we bring? We brought, well, quite a few options, especially variances of one or two molds in particular. So of course, straight out of my bag today, as the standard, you have my Alumineers Raider, you have the Sharingan and Rinnegan Raider, and then you have Darth Maul, the recent addition to the bag. However, in a video that I shot, well, not even a video, it was more sort of like just a casual round, I ended up losing my stitch trail, which was super sad. But I went to put a disc in the bag that I thought was easier distance, and it's an old and tried and true classic. For the longtime fans of the channel, you'll remember the first ever sponsor that Robbie C got Disc Golf ever received was Airwolf Athletics, based out of Hawaii, and they are now predominantly a cornhole company, which was funny because cornhole was like a little side project that they brought on when they decided they wanted to get into disc golf, and cornhole kind of took off. So props to them. But this is from my first ever shipment that I got of sponsored discs, and it is a Star Wraith. I dyed it myself, guys. It's sick. And this is so old, the stamp has like basically worn off. You can only see like its full shining in certain lights. But I have the Wraith, which brought me to today. We're testing not only this Wraith, but we pulled out a classic. This was from my first ever custom run that we did with Foundation, and this is the Key Owl stamp on another Star Wraith. I know this run was traditionally a little flippier, so excited to see that. And then we have some destroyers. This is the tried and true classic. So we've got this one from Overthrow. It is an AJ 3-line destroyer, and then we have just a classic Star Destroyer and then a Halo Star Destroyer, because it's funny, we have the Rinnegan on a destroyer, and then we have the Uchiha clan stamp because I've been a fan of the Uchiha for quite some time. I actually did this one myself. So destroyers. Now, keeping in line with the Innova made stuff, we have a Orbit or a Helio Falcon, which is really fun, with the Bogey Bro stamp from the sub box of, I want to say it was June is this sub box, but here you go, Falcon. On the Discraft side of things, we have a crank for an understable option, a Z crank, and then we have a Force, also from a sub box. This is one of the prettiest discs that I have ever gotten in a sub box. I think this thing is gorgeous, but we're going to see how a Force does on sort of, I know it's going to do well on forehand. Let's just be curious on backhand. Keeping with the Clash line, we have a Wild Honey. I think this one's going to be good on backhand. I'm afraid that it might be too flippy on backhand, but we'll see. And then we have a Salt from, Erica, honk honk. And then staying in the Trilogy line, I know someone suggested this in the Birdie fan, but we're going to look at a Grace, and then we're also going to look at the Rive, its overstable counterpart. So here's my thought process. We're gonna get out here, we're gonna throw them all on backhand just to get sort of an initial baseline. We're gonna throw them all on backhand again. And really, if we get like a good throw, but it's not a great result, we'll kind of be the judge on this. It's gonna be very a la our finding a good putting putter video, but we're gonna throw them all. If I get a good throw and I feel like it's a good result, then we'll keep it in. If I have a good throw, but I don't like the result, then we'll go ahead and eliminate it. And if I have a bad throw, we'll give it a chance to run again. And then once these have all survived the backhand test and we have our sort of more fixated population, we'll then take it to the forehand test, because I think I'll have a lot easier time sort of judging how the forehand feels. But it has to pass the backhand test first, because if I can't throw it on a backhand, but I can only throw it on a forehand. Right now, what I love about what I've got going with my Raiders is that I can throw most of them on forehand as well as backhand. And I want to make sure that that vibe kind of stays. Alrighty, so let's see how this goes. Start with baseline, or baseline of it all, Raider Nation. And that's the rub of that one in particular, is that like once it gets over, it's done. That one we didn't want to grip lock as hard. And those are the Raiders. Next, Wraiths. Let's go Clash next, Wild Honey. Oh, nose up. So nose up. Nope, gotta stay in it. That was salt. Okay, let's go Falcon. Oh, okay. We gotta stay in the hit, Crawford. Gotta stay in the hit. In the hit. Let's go Grace. You tell I'm not trusting the footing now. There it is. That's a Grace. Let's go Rive. Discraft. We'll go Crank. Nosy. Oh, it was nosier. It would have been so good, dude. Force. Okay, we hit the force better than we hit the crank. Okay, Halo Ray or Halo Destroyer. We got so intimidated by that disc, and we felt a headwind like the moment we went to release it. Okay, it's fine. These are all like a consistent 350, but it's just not. It's not it. Okay, I'll go scoop them and try again. So we're gonna go again to give you guys some shots, but just for reference, the Raider that got turned over into the parking lot, very far. I measured it. The Wraith and the Grace that also went far were on line, like literally same length, just further in. So probably, I mean, however you want to subtract that distance, but I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah. U-disc. Let's go. Let's go one more set. Give us our vibes. Yeah, I think that Raider for sure. I think that one, most on the chopping block for a Wraith to replace it. Because we're trying to hit it on hyzer and it's just turning over on us every time, which is not what we're looking for. It's just gonna be so hard to take Sharingan out of the bag because, dude, that's also good. Maybe we found the right distance disc. Maybe this is all for naught, but it's good times. It's just Raiders and Wraiths, dude. Who knew? Destroyers, never heard of her. Okay, that one, we like collapsed everything so poorly. Cool. We got one more Wraith or a Raider. Yeah. And that's solid. That wasn't even that good. Yep. I think it's safe to say Wraiths are going back in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and that's gonna come out too. Yeet! You ain't a Crawford unless you love a Wraith. I'm sorry for betraying you guys for so long. Eric Assault. Okay, that time what I tried to do is, sorry Erica, that wasn't a good showing for you. I was up here and I thought about coming flat, but then at the last second I was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be throwing up. That's on me. All right, wild honey. Oh, okay, we finally like got a decent nose angle on the honey, just no power on it. That would have been really cool if we got a hold of that. Oh, that time we slipped. You could literally, Trev can run it back for you. You could see that I physically scoot forward. Oh, that time we slipped. Okay, let's try the Falcon next. Commit to the hit, Crawford. Oh yeah, that's gone. That's gonna go so far if it fights out. That might even roll back in the fences. Okay, we gotta measure those two. Let's go Destroyers. We're gonna discraft the last shot at glory. I think what this is confirming for us though, guys, is that we don't even have to do the forehand test. Sometimes you get out there and you test it and you're like, hey, that was it. Clear that? Yes. Okay, that Destroyer cooked. As long as I am staying patient and waiting for the hit to come through and feel that come around, we're getting the distance, guys. Like that. That wasn't even that good, but that right there is the difference between a Halo Destroyer and a not Halo Destroyer. Star, some might say. It's just so laser straight. I didn't really ever get the cranks to turn. It makes me think like, probably a little nosy. That one I wanted to see if we put it on the ante, what it did. And it was pleasing. Okay, so this video may just be like a little montage of throwing into the great beyond. But here are some lessons that we learned, at least for right now, is that A, Raiders are staying because I feel like I still trust them on a forehand, and I know that, man, also on a backhand, the longest throw of the day was a Raider, and then we followed it up with another 400 footer immediately after with the same disc. So I like that we have like this this possibility of a flex with the Renegon. I think that we take the Darth Maul out and we put in purple and blue and just sort of figure out like what are the breaking points for those two, because I saw purple, we got some turn out of it, and purple on that second set, the Falcon went over 400. I think it was like 412 is what you just said. But the purple one was, once again, same length, just probably 20 or 30 feet closer. So it's probably right on that like 400, 395 mark. But it flexed out for us. So I think that blue, I think it's going to be like blue, or I think it's going to be like purple Airwolf is the most understable when we want to like know that we can yam on something and get some turn out of it pretty naturally. That's where that one's going to shine. And then blue when we want to like put into it and know that it may not come back necessarily, and then work our way up through the ranks. So it's an exciting time. Some surprising discs out of the selection. Once again, the crank. I think I just anticipated on the -2.2. I think I anticipated that mattering more than the 13, but I think the 13 is like actually pretty accurate. It feels very large in the hands, and I think I got a hold of it pretty well on the last one. Probably a little nosy, but I wonder for the crank is if you're someone who throws like naturally a little more flat or a little more Anheuser, I think if you start this thing and get it on some Anheuser naturally, that's going to be really productive for you in getting the turn out of it. The real shocker was this force. We flexed it on that last one, just put it on some Anheuser and watched it flex out. And it was like literally purple Wraith force right here. So that feels really good. I think that we need to learn some like power Anheuser lines to be able to force them out, pun intended. But yeah, this was a shocker. I thought that the Falcon was really good. I bet the Falcon doesn't get like any respect or attention because it, yeah, it's Innova made, but it's not, doesn't got the star on it. So that was super fascinating. The Grace was surprising. I've had bad times with the Grace in the past. The Rive, just as overstable as I thought it was going to be. I think that when we add another 30 or 40 feet and we start really trying to speed push where we're at right now, because right now it's just thinking about hitting those timings, and when we can hit those timings, once that becomes a lot more natural, so that I don't have as much of a spray as you were seeing across here, once that becomes a little more natural, then we can start ramping up the speed a good bit. But I think right now we're gonna have to be chilling in that like 61 to 63 speed throw and just accept what we have, and hopefully let the Wraiths and Raiders carry us some extra distance. But once again, the goal is 400 by the end of the year. So I think if we have that, we're feeling good, and maybe we can move that goalpost. I'll let Clint kind of chime in and see if we're moving that goalpost down any further. So with that being said, this is going to be a short video for you guys, but I hope it's enjoyable. What are molds that you've never considered trying, or molds like, for instance, I said it jokingly, but we always said that you're not a Crawford unless you love the Wraith, and so it's fun that the Wraiths are going back in the bag. What's a mold that you try to get away from and you come back to, and then others? So we obviously didn't try out a ton of options here. But as we sort of dial these in, what are some other ones that we should look at? I'll be honest, I wanted to try some Prodigy discs, but I didn't own Prodigy drivers. I didn't have any like D1s, D2s, or D3s, things like that, or X1s and X3s. So would love to try those out as well. You guys let us know what we should try there. Try to throw in some odd ones with the Clash and the Falcon. So as always, want to say thank you so much for watching. That's where we're at, and updating the drivers. Fairway drivers are next. Hope you have an amazing rest of the day. Please make it fantastic for someone else too. But for now, we're going to leave you with the birdie.